Hi.
How are you?
Per usual, I'm juggling all the things.
Same boat. I'm in the same boat.
Um, I have bacon in the oven, so I have like a couple of minutes before I have to go get that. But I was trying real hard to time it all out. But of
Yeah.
course, like my youngest is like, no, I need the pancake freshly off the griddle
Oh
with
my
the
God.
bacon and the hash browns. So he had a pregame pancake because the hash browns and bacon weren't ready. So then I had to make another set of pancakes,
Yeah.
and it couldn't be with baking powder because the baking powder that I bought was off-brand and it tends to chunk. And if you
Oh,
bite into that in like a pastry or a pancake or a waffle,
yeah.
it's like the worst tasting thing. So he's like, so I had to Google, get in the Google
Oh,
machine. Get in the Google machine. How can I make pancakes without baking powder? Yes, you can.
yeah. There you go. Now you
As
know how.
as long as you've got cornstarch and baking soda and
Oh,
lemon juice. Those are the
okay.
three. So
Okay.
just so you just in case you were
Thank you for
wondering.
the tip.
You're welcome. We're gonna do a little
Oh
like
man.
behind the scenes before we dig into
That's fine. Yeah. No,
meet Gabby, meet your actor Gaby Borja. Did I say that right? Yeah, Borja. No.
Georgia. I mean,
Yeah.
Borja technically is the correct.
Yeah, I can't roll my R's. We already figured that one out. Or I can't roll anything.
Borja's fine though. My middle name is Montserrat, and living in the States, that was just a really tough one. But and nobody really uses their middle name. Anyway, fast forward to graduation, that's the only time I ever had to use my middle name. And so my teacher was like sweating because we had practiced a couple days before the Montserrat. But the day of the ceremony,
Montserrat.
the day of the ceremony, he like we made eye contact while I was in that line. He was like sweating. And I'm
I'm
like, you can do
sure.
this.
I can say that word, Montserrat. I can
Yeah.
say it, Portia. Um, that's funny. Do you have any chaos? I mean, oh,
Yeah.
you
I
have,
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I
I've got
I I
lots. I got a sticky note full, so
I
you
just
go.
got caught up. And it was funny because I was like, of course this would happen today of all days. Like today I'm recording, I'm gonna probably be late or just on time. So I took Dante to tennis practice. His coach's car broke down and like I didn't want to be rude or anything and she's so nice. So I was like, so I did offer her a ride, but I also knew that if I offer her a ride, I might be late to
To
my
this.
own. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, but at this, it was one of those moments where she was just there, and she's like, "Yeah, I can't find a taxi, and they're not picking up." And I'm like, yeah, okay, you want to ride?"
You're so nice. No, that's like we need more of that, right? We need more people helping other people out, especially when like it's a collaborative, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
just, I don't
But it
know.
was funny because then I was like, "Oh, well, now of course I have to pee." So I'm like driving to her house, but my bladder's filling up at the same time, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna make it." And so I get home, and then Dante's like, "I'm hungry," so I'm like whipping up a quick egg before I go to the bathroom. I like come up here, put Zoom on, and I'm like, "All right, I really have to pee. I'm about to like burst."
And then I'm like, I have bacon in the oven, and you're
Yeah,
like, good, I have to pee.
yeah,
So
exactly. I'm like,
you,
perfect.
you go pee, and I'll go get the bacon, and then we'll
Yeah.
resume if you want to do
Yes.
that. Let's do that. Let's pause, and then we'll come back and resume into the chaos, and then we'll get started. And you're
Cool.
in Meet Your Actor series, Gabriela Borja. Did I do
Thank you. Yeah,
it?
you did.
Yeah, I did.
You did it.
All right, we're pressing pause. We'll be back.
Cool.
Okay. Hi.
Okay, we're on.
Yes. It was like perfect timing. My timer was going off like literally as
As my
as
bladder was going off too.
yes, as as I was like walking out my booth. I'm just texting Lloyd really quickly, just to see if he's gonna join us.
Yeah,
And Gabby, Gabby, you're here. And Angela.
and Angela.
Yeah, so I can edit this out. Are you joining us this AM? Sent.
I'm gonna put my phone on vibrate because for some reason I forget and it always goes off. Nobody usually calls me, but when we're recording and
Somebody will call you.
yeah.
Um, okay, so I will just keep on with like the behind the scenes stuff just for a second while we see if Angela and Lloyd are able to join us for the Meet Your Actor series, Gabriella Borja. And
So, random question. Did you ever watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
yes, yes.
Were you a fan?
I mean, I think so, but I mean, like, I didn't have anything else to watch because, like, TV was not the way that TV is today. Like, you can't just
That's
Netflix
true.
it, like, there's no
Yeah,
Hulu and Netflix and Peacock and HBO,
that
Disney
is true.
Plus, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
no, we had the
you,
commercials and PBS and
you
Disney
watched?
and Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
That was it.
no, I didn't even have Disney and Nickelodeon when I was
Wait,
growing up. I'm a
yeah.
little bit older than you, so
Okay,
like,
ABC.
I literally like you watched what was on TV and when the shows came on at 7 a.m. or maybe 6 and then they were done by 9 and then there was like the rest of the programming of the day, which was usually General Hospital and soap operas and news and then that was it. Like I was outside playing. Like I didn't have much of a
Good.
choice. Okay, but I digress. Why? Why? I feel like there was
No,
a reason.
well, I was just thinking like about all the shows that influenced me in a
Oh.
creative way,
Oh, okay.
and that was one of them. With the
I
exception of Lady Elaine, because she kind of scared the hell out of me, but everyone else was awesome.
Was that the owl?
No, it was like the art director. She had a really long nose and a red shirt.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't remember that. Isn't it funny how your brain allows you to remember certain things and then certain things like you don't remember, you know?
Yeah.
I just remember the owl. I think it was the owl, right? He would go talk to the owl in the tree.
Yeah, and
Isn't
then
that right? And then
as I got older, I realized that it was all Mr. Roger. It was all those were all his voices.
really? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo, a
Oh, yeah,
Mystery
those are
Machine.
cool.
Yeah, and then what else did we watch? We watched like Smurfs, and
Yeah.
I was also like a Looney Tunes kid, so
Yeah.
a lot of like the Bugs Bunny and that kind of stuff, like super old school stuff that like we were limited, I think, in what was available. We didn't have all
Yeah,
the
no.
choices like my kids did. Oh, Mickey Mouse, but a little bit of Mickey Mouse here and there. But I'm trying to think. I read a lot of books. Like I think I always had my
Nice.
nose in a book. So
Yeah.
I read a lot of like Sweet Valley High and Nancy Drew and Hardy
Yeah.
Boys and like I'm such a dork right now. But yeah, I read a lot and
I love it.
yeah, and I'm trying to remember like the name of it will come later, but like it's a big book because I think Oprah was in the movie and why am I forgetting the name of the book? Oh, I like Tiger Eyes by Judy Blume.
Ah,
Like a lot of Judy Blume books, I'm sure you recognize Judy Blume, right? I mean,
yeah.
those are
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
classic books,
There,
right?
yeah.
Um, but there was one book that it was about time travel. Why am I forgetting the name of the stupid book? Oh my God. Okay, my brain will remember it in like
Time
later.
trap.
Yeah, it was like time travel. The dad disappears and the kids go after him, like looking for him. And it's real like I loved fantasy and like whimsical and like,
Oh.
you know, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll remember later. Don't
Okay.
worry, it will come. It'll come. But
Yeah.
let's continue on with the cast while we're still waiting for Angela and Light. They haven't responded, but maybe they will. And then we're gonna move right into Is that okay?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. I'm totally in summer mode. And this summer I decided, and this will be quick because it's, behind the scenes. I decided that my kids are not allowed talking about like, exposure,
Yeah.
and like seeing, being on TV and video games and like watching stuff like YouTube. I mean, kids you don't have to be at home to watch TV anymore. You can be on your phone watching
Oh.
TV like
Yeah.
anywhere, right? And
Mm.
so I told them, I'm like, that's it. Like I'm working, but I'm also doing other things this summer, travel plans and stuff like that. But when we're not doing anything, like every morning you wake up, you have to get out of bed. You have to leave your room. This is serious. Like you have to leave your room. Like that's like an issue. And
Yeah.
then you have to like go outside. Like you have to go. And I told him like you have to ride your bike around. Like I gave him a perimeter. Like you have to ride your bike, walk, or you have to get on the treadmill. I have a treadmill in my garage. Or my teenager, I told him to go to the gym. We have a gym in like the neighborhood. Like it's at the clubhouse. And you have to do something like for X amount of time. And then I
Yeah.
also incorporated like jumping jacks and planks and I'm into health and fitness and wellness and stuff like that. Like you got to move your body. But
Yes.
because it was getting to the point where it was not just them being on screens all day, it was like my middle schooler who's a teenager now, so I've got two teenagers in the house. He would go from he would go from, you know, the night before, video gaming till really late, and I can no longer enforce a bedtime, so that happens, even with
Yeah.
my middle schooler. My 18-year-old, like, forget it, he's a grown ass man, like, he's gotta make his own decisions. I can only recommend
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Recommend, and so, even under now that he's still living underneath the roof of my house, right, I can still recommend things, like, and then, but like my middle schooler who's a teenager, I'm like, you have to be shut it down by like midnight. That doesn't happen because I go to bed. I don't know what's happening. And then he goes from video games and to bed, gets up, probably doesn't pee, probably doesn't brush his teeth, doesn't even leave his room and goes right back to video games. So I'm like,
Mm.
no, that's not happening. You have to leave your room. Like those
Yeah.
things I just told you. So that's happening.
No, that's amazing. That's great.
Well,
We need more moms doing that because
uh-huh.
what did I read the other day that the kids not being bored, that's a bad thing. Like
Yeah.
inventions were created because people were bored.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, it was amazing. Like my middle schooler did like an asshole thing that like he got in trouble for with his friends, and we won't go into details. It wasn't that bad. They were just being like boys and
Mm.
stupid, and I made him I made a point to make sure that like those choices that he made were not going to be made again, and so he got in
Mhm.
trouble. But like some of his friends got grounded for 3 weeks. He got grounded for like 2 days. So like I think I'm a pretty cool mom. I mean, maybe that's not the best parenting style, but I'm like I feel like I'm going to give you consequences for what your actions. And I didn't think 3 weeks
Yeah.
was like really fair for what happened, but I still made my point. But it was amazing. He got up and he left the house and he didn't come back till dinner. I was like, hallelujah. Holy fuck. Really? Like that can, like he was gone. And then of course he got his video games back. Like, he
Two
had
days
like,
later.
yeah, but he acted like a crackhead, like, when the first 12 hours. Like, I mean,
I mean, even that, like, getting into trouble stuff, like, that's fine. That's healthy. That they're kids. They should be getting into trouble. Like, like the good trouble, the fun trouble, okay, it's not a big deal. Nobody got hurt. Nobody's in danger kind of
yeah.
trouble.
Like pushing the boundaries. I think what it
Yeah.
is that my middle ends up being like he kind of goes with the flow, which is great. It's a great personality trait, but it also can get you in trouble if you're flowing with the wrong kind of kids
Yeah.
or the kids that have a tendency to push the boundaries, like,
A little too far.
a little too far. And it was just like boy stuff and fighting and, like neighborhood, bus stop crap, but it was
Oh.
like, my thing is he didn't get necessarily in trouble for like his choices. It was more of when I came to him to talk to him about it, he wasn't upfront and honest with me, like off
Mm,
the bat. And I
yeah.
gave him one pass. And then, like, the second time around, I was like, okay, you're lying to my face. Like, you are going to get in double, triple, quadruple trouble if you just don't, if you just, you might not even get in trouble if you just were honest. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
off the cuff, like, and I was like, I'm a pretty laid back parent. And, yeah, that's a whole nother story. So that's,
That's amazing because it enforces trust.
yeah. If you don't have, if you don't have trust,
Yeah.
like you might not necessarily get in trouble for your actions depending on what those actions are. Every circumstance is different, every kid is different. But like
Yeah.
if you're not gonna like fess up, I gave him one pass because sometimes with ADHD, like that brain like works differently a little bit.
Hmm.
And so like in my mind, it might take him a minute to like kind of there's no excuse, but
Process. Yeah.
yeah, but like his like whole like that whole processing, it takes a minute. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of like my thought process on how I parent him. But I don't know,
Yeah.
everybody parents differently.
Yeah.
Um, okay, one other thing, two things, and then we're gonna move on.
Okay.
Um, I, I had a diner epiphany. So remember I took the diner job.
Yeah.
It was very humbling, but I
Uh-huh.
felt like I'm a real actor now. I work in the restaurant industry. Like that's like what
Nice.
you do. And so I went through the whole process. I didn't stay there. I left because of some like they weren't really the well, we won't get into it, but like I felt like some of the people there I didn't really feel like I wanted to spend my time with, and
Mm.
I also felt like they were kinda messing with my money. So I was like,
Oh,
I have better and bigger things to do, so I moved on.
yeah.
But I had an epiphany, and I'm looking at a different restaurant to work at, in the night, like a couple night shifts, so I'm excited
Yeah.
about this. I'll tell you
Okay.
about that later. Um, but I had this epiphany. I literally, when I was working at the diner, I was like, I'm literally doing the shit I do every day from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed, but I don't get paid for at my house.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm like literally, like, they're paying me to take plates, refill water, clear the table, wipe the table down,
Yeah.
deliver the food, like
Yeah.
restock all the shit. Like it was humbling, because I was in training mode and I was, it was they didn't necessarily have wait staff. It was like set up differently at this diner. But
But you don't get paid for it at the house. You don't
I
even get a nice thank you sometimes.
no, sometimes you get a demand.
Yeah.
Like
Like, "I'm sorry? What?"
I'm hungry. Okay, that's nice. Get me
Yeah.
water. Are you serious right now? Like you don't tip
There's
me
a
enough.
nicer way to, like, say that.
So
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy shit, like, this is my life right now." And then I felt like I'm so domesticated, like, I need to
You're domesticated.
I am. I'm trained well and domesticated. Mm. Not the life that I had originally envisioned for myself, like, way back in my teens and my 20s, but, I wouldn't have it any other way. So,
Yeah.
and then just one other little quick thing, I finally got my teenager um, to take driving lessons. Remember we've talked about this.
Wow, yeah.
So a neighbor connected me with a driver's training professor or teacher at the school, and
Yeah.
he's coming to our house individually, and I'm paying him, but it's like it's worth it because I don't have to drive 40 minutes to meet another driver's training like school
Mm,
and it's not really set up down here in Florida, which is really strange. They don't have driver's training or school like we had in the Midwest. It's just
yeah.
different, and
Okay.
which is scary different because driving down here is like oof, we've talked about this before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he had his first driver's training lesson
Oh
with
my
my
god.
vehicle though, like yeah, and my husband was like not happy about it, the man babe. And then anyways, I was like, it's fine. And it turned out great. And the
Okay.
driver's training professor, he actually is a DJ. So he does, like, remote DJing, and I'm like, "Oh, my friend
Oh.
Angela does that," and I had friends back in Michigan when I was in radio that did that on the side. I never got into it, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm in voiceover," and he was like, "Oh, cool," and he's like, "Actually, I know someone I should connect you with," and I was like,
Oh
"Sweet."
my god.
So the reason why I'm sharing this one is I'm pretty proud of myself as a mom that I'm actually getting my teenager to finally, like, be open to driving. Yay.
Yes.
My mom won. At least he'll know the skill, even if he moves to a city where he never has to drive ever again.
It's important to know.
Yeah, so if there's an emergency, like a zombie apocalypse, he can
Yes.
he can get in the car and drive somewhere. Um, or, like, I might need him to drive me, some what
At
he
some point. Yeah.
yeah, or what if he goes to a party at college and his friends, like, drive and then they drink and then, like, he needs to drive them home. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess he could Uber home, but whatever. So, why am I telling you this? Oh, but it's networking, like, it came up in conversation. My husband always makes fun of me, everyone always makes fun of me. "You talk to everybody, ah," but it's like, you never know, and so
You're
it
an
came
amazing PR,
oh, well, thank you.
basically.
But some people would say I talk too much. I think it's a superpower. Like,
It
I'm
is.
leaning into it. I mean,
People pay other people to learn your skill that comes naturally to you.
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. I should
it's
probably
a
look
gift.
into that a little bit. Okay. So I was talking to him and he said, I'm a DJ. And at first, like the conversation kept going, but I like remembered that he said that. And then when the conversation broke, I was like, oh, and I referred to him about how I know people that do that.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned, like, I was not thinking, I was like, should I mention I'm a voiceover or should I not mention? Because I think we all can relate to this a little bit. You're like, do I tell people I'm an actor? Do I not tell people I'm an actor?
Yeah.
Do I tell people I'm a voice actor? Do I not tell people I'm a voice actor? And I just was like, fuck it. I'm just going to tell him. I'm like, I'm a voice actor. And he knew exactly what I was talking about. And voila, he's got someone he's gonna connect me with. He gave him my
That is so
information and
cool.
hopefully they call me and hopefully it goes someplace and they're
Yeah,
local. So it just pays off, just if you think you should tell somebody or you think it could come up organically, naturally in your conversation, don't be afraid to bring it up
yeah,
because you never know what opportunity could come up, right?
that's true.
If you don't
Yeah,
ask, you don't get. If you don't tell, they don't know. So
exactly,
that's it. That's all I
exactly.
got. So,
Oh, that's a really good advice. I feel like in the beginning, I was more like that, like, should I say what I do? Maybe I shouldn't say what I do. Maybe I should. But here in Mexico, it's very common for the women to become housewives. A working mom is a little less common. There are many working moms here, but it's just not as common as in the States. And so I usually never, never get asked what I do as a profession. And so I started
wow.
noticing that when I was like, oh, should I mention I'm a voice actor? And I'm like, well, actually, nobody's asking me like what I do for a living. They're all asking my husband. They're all asking, oh, what does your husband do?
Yeah.
Oh, well. So
Interesting.
now, whenever I get asked what my husband does, I'm like, oh, yes, he's in printing. And I do voiceover.
Yay, that's good. So it's like it's a difference in terms of culture too, right?
Yes.
Culture and
Yes.
family and yeah, and just society in general. Okay, that's interesting. Huh. You're
Yeah.
breaking out of the mold.
I am
That's
breaking out. And yeah, it took me a while, but now I'm like, oh, yes. Hi, I'm Gaby. I'm a voice actor.
that's so
I have
cool.
to like ring it down when I go to the States, but here I'm like, yes, I am a voice actor. Yes, I do work. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. I do have other things going on besides like my family. Yeah. Even though our
Yeah.
family's very important and it's very important
Yes.
that we have to take care of them and that's like the choices that we made.
But
But
at some point, the little
yeah.
birds are going to fly out of the nest and then you're just going to be stuck with an empty nest. So
Yes.
might as well like start working towards a career right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and or even a hobby or even something part-time or anything that you're
Yeah,
interested in doing that like, that you didn't get a chance to do maybe when the kids were like little. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, this is the perfect break
Okay.
for a second. Like, this is a perfect break. Okay. Um, wait, because I'm gonna have to edit this together. Okay, this is a perfect break so that we can move into Meet Your Actor series, Gabriela Borja. We're gonna talk a little bit about you and your whole, how you got started and your origin story. So we're gonna kick that off
Okay.
next. That was so like professional.
Sounded great.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Oh, she said no.
Okay.